Good morning, everyone. So many of you practice with me at my studio, One Tree Yoga, and I taught a class yesterday. It's my Sunday morning yinyasa class. So those of you that aren't familiar, it's sort of the merging of vinyasa yoga, so flow style, with yin. And so it's sort of a slow, low kind of flow where we get really deep into postures. It's my personal favorite. So yesterday I taught a class with some deep side bending and a little bit of back bending, and I had multiple people be like, that was amazing, it was really a great class. And so I think side bending generally can just be really, really intense and a lot of deep work. And so I'm gonna teach today for the YouTubes kind of a condensed version of that class. So I'm not going to do the full 75 minutes. It'll be a sort of shortened version of what I taught yesterday. So deep side bends, a little bit of back bend work. You really just need a block. You might want to have a blanket nearby if you need padding for your knees at all. It probably doesn't hurt to have a strap if you're tight in the shoulders or the legs. You might need a strap, but otherwise one block should do the trick. All right, so let's get started. So go ahead and lie on your backs to begin, and just be comfortable for now, whatever that looks like. And if it helps, close your eyes, right? So sort of eliminate one of the senses. And just take a few moments here to drop in. And so this style, like I said, is slow and low and deep. And so you really want to get there as soon as you can with your breath and sort of just your overall intention. So while we will move a little different than traditional yin, it's not going to be super fiery flow. It's going to be meant to be more calming. That doesn't mean easy, right? It doesn't mean it's not going to be intense. It's just this is like a different intention. So continue to take big breaths here. Really breathe deeply. So big full inhales through your nose. And deep full exhales out the nose. Proceed with that for a few more moments. So go ahead and straighten your legs if they're not already, and bring your feet and your legs together. So really engage the legs here. Spread your toes, peel the toes towards you, and then interlace all 10 fingers, spin your palms up, make your arms really straight, and then inhale, stretch the arms all the way overhead. So really reach the palms of the hands away from the heels and pull your belly back and up. So get really long here. And you can sort of press out through left heel, left hand, and switch sides. So feel that sort of natural, automatic belly scoop, that Uddiyana Bandha action here. Just relax your arms, keep them overhead. You can bend your knees and roll onto your left side. Same thing, stack your legs, spin your palms away from you, stretch. So especially this top leg, so really reach through the outer right heel and reach through the heel of your right hand and get long, pull your belly back. And then you can release right hand in front of you. Just rest your head here on your left arm, and then bend this top right leg back and kind of press the foot behind you, almost like a glute engagement. And then put the inner blade of your right foot down. And I've got mine just outside of my mat, so you want it pretty wide. And then start to roll more towards your belly. You're not going to go very far. And allow that inner right knee to drop. You'll see mine's not going very far. So a little bit of tightness here. Just breathe into that. And if this hurts your knee, your right knee, then I would, stay more lifted or move the foot in. And you can also walk that foot further behind you. So again, just kind of play around what happens if you roll more towards your belly or stay more on the side. Just take a few more breaths. And then you can bend your knees, roll to your backs, interlace your hands overhead, and then roll to your right side. Same start, straight legs, spin your palms away from you. And this time, really reach top heel, so that left heel away from the heel of your left hand. And get really long. Pull your belly back and up. And then soften, put left hand in front of you, release. Bend your top left leg and kick the foot behind you and slowly lower the inner blade of your left foot down as you try to reach the inner left knee down. And you can roll a little bit toward the belly to your right as you breathe. So you'll feel, I feel a little bit in the hip flexor, but also sort of the side waist, outer glute, outer hip. There's no wrong answer, right, to where you feel it. As long as you're not getting like a lot of inner knee pain. I have more knee stuff on this side, so I'm just not going to drop this leg as low, so just be mindful. Take one more breath here. Great. This time just go ahead and roll all the way onto your belly. So you can just flip around and prop up into Sphinx pose. So spin your palms down, your elbows are underneath your shoulders, point your toes, and I personally like my legs a little wider here. You can kind of decide that for yourself. And then isometrically pull elbows back and your chest forward and up. Lift your sternum and pull your belly back. Do a little tail tuck here. Spin your right forearm in. Point your left toes, bend your left leg back behind you, and then reach back with your left hand. So Ardha Bhikasana. Don't go too crazy here, it's early. So push down with the right elbow to lift up. And you can just pull the heel in, or some of you can spin your fingers down, hold the top of the foot, or some of you can spin your fingers out, up and over, like this C clamp. See how my elbow spins up? That's either gonna happen or it's not, so don't force it. And then lift your chest. Keep your right leg firm, tuck your tail, pull your belly back. Stretch the thigh here. Good, all right, release. Switch. Spin your left forearm in. If you feel like way too much crunch in your low back, then you've got to back off. That's not really what you want yet. Bend your right leg, reach back. So you either hold outer foot, top of foot, or fingers out, up and over. This means I've got to really be able to get my heel close, so that sort of also depends. And then see here the tendency is to sink down. See if you can push the left forearm down, lift up, keep your left leg firm, and really pull your navel away from the mat. Relax your face. Good. Release. Press back child's pose here. And let your elbows soften. And just take some full deep breaths. Come up. I'm going to turn around to face top of mat. You can, depending, you don't have to, depending on how you're set up, but I just want to be the right way with the camera. And then come to all fours. Spread your fingers wide, and let's take a few rounds slowly, cat-cow. So inhale, drop your belly, arch your back, and look up. Exhale, cat pose. Do that maybe a couple more times. And then as you keep going, I invite you to make some lateral movements. So as you inhale to the cow, swing your right hip and your head to the right. So sort of lengthen that left side, and then exhale, cat, swing left hip and head to the left. So you're sort of making these side-to-side movements as you cat-cow. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It can kind of look more like circles. It's just the invitation to, like, you don't have to just go up and down, but to invite some of the side movements. Just a couple more breaths here. Great. Come back to hands and knees. Spread the fingers wide, tuck your toes, and let's go right to downward facing dog. Personally, it's my first down dog today. It's morning here, but regardless, it's the first dog of the class. So take a little bit of warm up here, whatever that looks like. Find stillness when you're ready. Breathe. Next time you inhale, shift forward plank. Exhale, lower the knees and come all the way to your belly. Point your toes, keep your hands where they are. Without using your hands, lift up cobra. Really use your back muscles. And then exhale, lower back down, tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. So because we're doing like condensed version, we're just going to do like one sort of longer flow set. So we're going to spend more time in the poses, which, if you know me, you know we kind of do that anyway. On your next inhale breath, look forward. Exhale, step the right foot between your hands. So we're going to do what's called a confused pigeon. So move your left hand a little bit in front of you, and maybe to the left corner of your mat, and then turn all 10 toes to the right. So you're on the outer blade of your left foot, and you keep your whole right foot down, but all your toes face the right. Put your right hand on your hip and spin your belly to the right, almost like a side plank. So the tendency here is going to be to sink the hips. Don't do that. See if you can lift your hips up and turn. And then move your left hand off your mat in front of you. And you're going to take your time to slowly lower your hip, your left hip. Now, some of you are going to have to move your right foot to the back of your mat, but you can put your right hand on your thigh and see how slow I'm like eking in there until I get my whole outer left leg, left hip down. And you can see, like I told class yesterday, you might have to move your hand forward. This is like one of the few times I'll actually say, let your left shoulder sling up into your left ear. So we're really going for a big side stretch here. So really drop in there. And then you've got some options here that you can see I'm sort of toggling a little bit forward to the front of the left leg and then toggling back. So you'll find some probably special sweet spots. I encourage you to hang out with them. And you can use this right hand on the thigh to sort of press your right knee, right thigh more to the right. So you just create a little more external rotation, but keep your right foot on the floor. And just be here for a few more moments. Go ahead and unwind and get back into a lunge. Doesn't have to look pretty. Yeah? Walk all 10 fingers and toes to the left this time. So like wide legs, toes point straight ahead. Big inhale. Keep a little bend in your knees. Exhale, fold forward. Prasarita Padottanasana. Hug elbows in. Lift your shoulders. And then shift the weight forward. And then re-straighten your legs a little bit. Go back to straighter legs. And take a few breaths. Good. Walk your hands forward, inhale. Walk your hands over to your left foot. Listen carefully, rights and lefts coming at you. Take your right hand, thread it under your left arm, and hold that outer just above your left ankle. Put your left hand above where the right hand is, and then inhale, lift up long and tall. Exhale, hook your belly to the left and pull your face towards your shin. Bend your right leg, just your right leg, and use that bent leg to really turn your navel to the left. Fold in. And you can straighten the right leg when you're ready. Oof, take another big breath. This one's a doozy. Good. Release your arms. Crawl all the way to the right. Turn your right toes out and really pivot your left toes in. Make your right leg straight. So let's all grab the block actually. Put it outside of your ankle. I've got tall blocks. Straighten your right leg. Right hand to block. Put your left hand on your hip. So we're setting up for a triangle variation here. Turn your belly to the left. Straighten your legs. So that means lift your knees and firm your thighs and try to lengthen your side waist. Bend your back left leg. So keep your front leg straight. Bend your left knee. Go for more length. Go for more open twisting. Stretch your top arm up, and then without shoving your spine forward, push into the left heel and slowly straighten, trying to get more opening in this outer left hip here. Breathe. Sweet. Look down, bend your knee. Move the block, back heel up, and then you can lower your left knee. So this is where you might need a blanket for padding if that is too much for your knee. From here, draw tail down, belly back, climb up your right thigh. Inhale, stretch both arms up. Spin your palms forward, and then hold your left wrist with your right index finger thumb. Big inhale, reach up. Make your left arm straight. Exhale, lean to the right, and pull your left arm over there. So ideally, you feel that stretch all the way down into the left psoas. Inhale up, exhale, hands down. Last pose in this little flow. Lift your back knee, and you're gonna hop that left knee to the top of your mat so you can roll the left calf out of the way and sit inside of your left foot. Now some of you, this ain't a thing that's gonna happen. You can see my hip and heel are close, that's what I want. So you're welcome to sit up on a block. So either way, block or not, let's all start by reclining to the hands, and you can spin your fingers back to keep your chest open. Now, if you're sitting on a block, this is the end of the road. Those of you that aren't, but this might be the end of the road. Otherwise, lift your hips up, do a big pelvic posterior tuck, so tail tuck action. And then you might be able to lower, second stage would be to the elbows. And then some of you can go all the way back. I'm always going to give myself another little posterior tilt here as I lower back and grab opposite elbows overhead. So the Ardha Supta Virasana, the half Supta V. Again, many of you, I talk about this a lot, but especially women, but for myself, I've got a lot of mobility in my low back, too much. So my action here is to always posteriorly tuck my pelvis so that I'm less back bending in my back and I'm getting more stretch in my quads and my hip flexors. That may not be the case for everyone, but if you tend to be super bendy in your low back, then that's probably going to be your work for a lot of poses. It's make it less of a low back bend and really engage the belly and pull your ribs in and down. So we'll be here for just a bit. I personally like to keep my right leg bent. It helps keep your hips more even. It also gives me a much better stretch in my left thigh. You could straighten the leg, but then what happens is you tip over and you have less to push into. So that's my vote, but you make the call for yourself. Then you treat this like a yin pose. try to be really soft and still. And trust me, even if you were just to look at the video, you're like, oh, Alison looks so calm, this must be easy for her. Define easy, but like, to be clear, I feel this deeply. It's like pretty intense. My quads are pretty tight, and so you just try to get your breath and your body to relax a little bit, and then you just tend to freak out a little bit less in the pose. You can like deal with the intensity or the discomfort in a more manageable way, I think. So just a few more breaths, a few more moments. So keep your right foot on the mat, and you're going to slowly eject. So however much you recline, fine, just come up the way you came in. Right foot stays on the mat, crawl forward, and shoot your left leg behind you. And really give it a good squeeze back there so you can open the back of the left knee. When you're ready, step back down. Take a moment here. When you're ready, inhale, plank pose. Exhale, knees down if you want, and then slow lower to your belly. Point your toes, inhale, cobra. Start by not using your arms and using your back, and then if you want to put the hands down and come up, fine, but keep the back muscles lit up. Downward facing dog when you're ready. All right, let's do all of that on side two. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step left foot between hands. Walk that right hand forward a bit and turn all 10 toes to the left. So it's that same confused pigeon, outer right foot, sole of left foot. Left hand to hip, turn your belly to the left like you were doing side plank and get your hips up. And then you're going to want to walk the right hand quite a bit forward. I've got mine off my mat several inches. Take your time. Slowly lower. See, I'm kind of toggling in and out until I eventually lower all the way down. Again, you might have to move your left foot a little bit back. Walk that right hand forward if you need to. And again, let your right shoulder sling up towards your ear. Left hand on knee, thigh area. And then play around with the toggling forward and back. So when I lean forward, let my right shoulder sling, sort of get part of the sideways, and when you roll back, it changes. So find somewhere to work that's interesting or helpful. And again, you can press gently, don't force. Don't let your inner foot come, so keep the inner foot planted, but you can gently nudge your left thigh a little bit away from you as you do your exploratory work. Just take a few more moments here. All right, roll back to the top of your mat. Get yourself in a lunge. Doesn't have to be graceful. And then walk all 10 fingers and toes to the right. So wide-legged forward fold. Toes point straight ahead. Soften the knees. Inhale. Exhale, walk your hands back. Fold and hug your elbows in. So see, this is the tendency. This matters. And then lift your shoulders. Lean forward, straighten your legs. Take a few deep breaths. Good. Walk your hands forward. And then walk hands over towards your right foot. Take your left arm, thread it under the right, hold the outer just above the ankle, then put your right hand above it. I've got a little bend in my knees, but I'm sort of babying a hamstring thing on my right side. So keep your right leg straight if you can. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hook your belly to the right. Pull with your left arm and fold. Now bend your left knee for sure. Turn your belly to the right. So your left leg is bent, right leg is straight, unless you're me and you've got a hamstring thing. And then when you're ready, straighten left leg turn and pull. Good, all right, release. Crawl all the way to the left. Spin your left toes out, right toes in. Grab that block, put it outside of your ankle, tall side. Put your right hand on your hip and start to straighten your legs and roll open towards Trikonasana triangle. Lift your knees, firm your thighs. Once you're in, now bend your back right leg. Do more of a tail tuck. Stretch your top arm up, belly back. And then without jamming and pushing the spine forward, push into the right heel without moving the spine at all. Straighten the leg, make it an outer right hip experience, and then turn your belly more to the right. Breathe. Look down, handstand. Lunge. Lower the back knee, grab a blanket if you need it, and then up you go. Inhale, arms up, spin your palms forward. This time hold your right wrist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, pull over to the left. So you're pulling that right arm straight, lifting up and lean to the left. Lean back. Belly back. Inhale up you come, exhale down. Last pose in the flow, lift your back knee, Ardha Supta V. Pull the right knee forward, roll your right calf out of the way and sit inside of your foot. Sit on a block if you need to. So let's all recline to the hands, spin your fingers back. Again, this might be end of the road. You just close your eyes and chillax. Stage 2 is onto your forearms. And then big tail tuck if you're going here. Stage 3, tuck your buns under. Keep your right knee down and down you go. I didn't say that on the first side, but hopefully most of you know this. But if your right knee pops way off the floor, it's just your tight thigh telling you not yet. So you're gonna keep that shin down. Otherwise, rewind yourself, backtrack until you keep that leg down. And just breathe. So again, back bending the low back, big potential for rib flare. So really try to work tail tuck, ribs in, belly push straight down. And I always switch the grip of my elbow grip overhead just to balance things out a little bit. So again, treat this yin-like. Soften, breathe deeply, fully, but calmly, evenly. Stay with this for a few more moments. Again, we might not want to, but we can work with discomfort and intensity, but don't try to muscle your way through pain, right? Back off until it's not painful and maybe just uncomfortable, right? There's a difference. It's a fine line, but definitely a difference. Come up. Transition, crawl forward and shoot your right leg behind you. Give it a squeeze back there. And step back down, dog, when you're ready. Let's take one more little mini dog cycle. If you want, inhale, plank. Exhale, lower all the way to your bellies. Inhale to the cobra, any height. And then exhale, back to dog. Awesome. All right, everybody, lower your knees. I'm gonna turn to face the long edge of my mat so you guys can see me. You can do that or not. And you're gonna straighten your right leg out to the side and just bend your left leg in. Yeah? And then pull that left knee in a little bit so your hips are square to your right foot. Put your right fingertips down, inhale, reach your left arm up. Janushirshasana, exhale, twist, and then dive over the leg. And I'm gonna be specific here, but if you can, grab that outer right foot with your left hand. Now some of you can't, so I invite you to strap around foot so you have something to pull. And then take a big inhale, lift up. Exhale, hook your belly to the right and fold over the leg. And if you're like me, you've got a little more room, I also have long arms, then really reach past the foot. I almost like hook my wrist outside my foot and then I can take my whole hand and grab the bottom of the foot because I'm really trying to get this opening in this left outer armpit, shoulder, side body. So you're really trying to like reach, almost like someone could pull your left hand away from you. Let's take a few more breaths. Good, inhale, come all the way up. Pull that left knee open. So here's your options. Stay here, or tip to the right and you'll tuck the left leg behind you. Now you have to be able to get that heel close to you for what's next to work. So if this doesn't work for your knee, just go back to where we were. And then really get wide legs here. All right, listen carefully. Hands in front of you. Tip forward and lift your butt up. Take your right hand, thread it underneath you, grab your left heel, and then sit down on your arm. And now you've got to lean to the right. So lean back. I'm still holding on to my heel. And then sweep left arm overhead for Parvrita variation. Now, this isn't happening. You can just go here. But if you can, sit on that arm. Lean back, and this actually allows me to grab my foot more easily. And then pull with your left arm to turn your belly to the left. Take your time to come out. Don't let me rush you. So even if you weren't in the full shape, you're just here reaching, still big side stretch. Switch legs. So bring your left leg out. Let's start, everyone do this. Right leg in, because we're Janushirshasana. So turn your belly to the left. Pull that right leg in. Inhale, stretch right arm up. Really twist to the left. And then dive over the leg. Remember, reach that hand away. Grab your outer foot. Big inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn your belly to the left and fold it. And really get as much reach as you can. So you might reach beyond your foot and then just wrap that hand around the bottom of the foot and you go. Another couple of breaths. Come up. Open the legs, so this is option one, legs, or tip left. Pull that right foot back. Again, heel close. Open the legs wide. Tip forward. So those of you that aren't going to do this variation, you just like lean right over. But otherwise, tip forward. This time, left hand threads under. Reach for your right heel. Now here's the rub. You gotta get your whole forearm down and then lean back and to the left, way back. Now sweep your right arm overhead. Grab your foot or get close so your shoulder's inside your leg, and then pull with your right arm and twist open. Hard for me to talk here, so just breathe. It's deep. Yowzas. Slowly exit. Slowly. Whew. Swing your legs in front of you. Wrap your arms around your shins and sit up. All right, so let's do final sort of a yin-like back bend for our sort of final big pose. Saddle pose, I'll show you the setup and then I'll give you an option if you can't saddle. So saddle pose is a little bit different than Sidebends. So the knees are wide and I've got my big toes touching underneath of me. So you have to be able to sit on your heels like this for sure. And if you can't do that, don't worry about it. I'll give you another option. But then as you recline back into saddle, you're gonna tuck your buns under. For real, I was telling class yesterday, you literally gotta grab your booty flesh and shove all that stuff forward. And then you'll lower all the way down. And I shove it forward again. So it's a big back bend. You can also put a block under your shoulders. You'll have to hold your head with your hands. That'll make it a little easier if going all the way back is hard. And then for those of you that can't do this, you'll start on your back and you can just lift up and do supported bridge with your block. Yeah, so you're still doing a back bend. It's just a little more accessible. So for the last couple of minutes before we wind down, saddle pose or bridge pose, supported bridge. Don't try to hold bridge pose. It's no bueno. And I should say, hopefully those of you that are doing our YouTube classes know that we are big advocates of props. So if you don't own props, they're worth purchasing. I think I could probably do maybe 10 poses well if I didn't have props. So they make many things more accessible and doable. Couple blocks, blanket and strap will do. I think quality matters, but I'm kind of a prop snob. We sell some at my studio. Good quality blankets. They're hard to find. They're actually horse blankets. The ones you buy on Amazon are lame. They're soft and dumb. I don't like them. But these good hugger mugger blocks are my favorite. And then hugger mugger also has a really good strap. So for the last minute or so here, it's soften, which trust me, it might not look like this is a lot for me, but it's intense. Big opening, big back bend. So do what you can. Our thighs and quads are prepped. Our side bodies are nice and long, so hopefully you feel relatively juiced. But if you don't, then you're gonna have to make the call for yourself to back off or modify, right? Only you know how it feels in your body. So if you're in supported bridge, lift your hips up, take the block out, lower down to your backs, wait there for the rest of us. Those of you in saddle, you've got a couple options. Come up the way you came in, and if you're in doubt, that's what I vote. But I do this pose a lot, so if you can sort of tip to the right, you can slither your legs out. But again, that can be a little tricky, so be smart. We're all gonna eventually make it to our backs. Let's bend the knees. And then with your knees bent, feet up off the floor, stack your right shin on top of left shin. Let your knees fall in and grab the bottoms of your feet. So I'm trying to pull my feet out and my knees a little closer together. Sukhasana on the back, Supta Sukhasana. Flex your feet, spread your toes, and then watch. Bend your elbows to the sides. Let your butt lift off the floor so you can actually pull your knees towards your armpits and pull your feet towards your knees. So see, my butt's not down with my shins away. My butt's up with my shins over my chest. Try to soften your shoulders. And then if you have tightness in the back like I do, a little bit of shifting right and left, tipping right and left. You can see I'm sort of lingering on the left side a little bit longer. It's where I feel always have tightness in my back, mid-back, low back, QL. So this might be helpful. Just take deep breaths here. You can see I'm not tipping over quickly. I'm like shifting and staying and breathing. Make sure you release and switch. Left leg on top, same work. When you feel ready, go ahead and release. Let's do feet wide, let your knees knock in, rest your hands on your belly. And that's usually enough counter posing for me with those sort of side bend, back bend that we did. But if it's not, if your back is still like, ugh, I don't know, or your pelvis feels wonky, then like lying twist, right? Or just hugging your knees in. Like do something that will help you feel more settled. When you're ready, Shavasana. So again, if you're still counter posing, don't let me rush you, but set yourself up well. Straight legs, toes out, tuck your shoulders, palms face up, and then close your eyes. Soften your jaw, soften your face. Release your tongue. Release your eyelids. So everything is soft here, soft neck, and then really just sort of go all the way down the body. It's like soften belly. Relax all the way down to the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers. Beauty of doing yoga at home is you can take as long of a rest as you want. And if you know me at all, you know I really encourage Shavasana. It's good for the body to rest, and it really allows the practice we just did to seep in. So stay several minutes at least, longer if you've got it. So I'll leave the Shavasana time up to you. I hope you all enjoyed that practice, and again, stay in Shavasana. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.